Today was one of those weirdly important founder days. We were finishing the final HTML for our technical PDF blog page, and on paper, it felt like this should have been straightforward. By this point, we were already pretty used to working with both ChatGPT and Gemini. Most of the time, we lean more on ChatGPT, but this time, I wanted to give Gemini more responsibility and see how far it could go. What kept happening was frustrating in a very specific way. If I got Gemini to preserve all the blog content, some of the functionality would break. If I got the functionality working, parts of the content would quietly disappear, get compressed, or get re-summarized into something thinner than what we actually wrote. Even when I was very explicit about not changing anything, not reducing the content, and not helpfully rewriting things into a watered-down version, that problem kept showing up. So at a certain point, I handed it to Heather and asked her to keep going from where I left off. She ran into her own version of the same kind of problem. In this case, even basic things like clicking images and making them pop up properly started getting tangled up because there was already so much going on in the page. It was one of those situations where almost everything looks done, but one small broken behavior can still stop the whole thing from feeling finished. What made today different is that she actually solved it. Heather carried it forward from where I stopped, cleaned up the logic, and introduced a simpler way of displaying information without losing what made the page important in the first place. That mattered a lot. Because the real problem was never just, can AI generate code? The problem was whether the final result still behaves like a real product once all the moving parts are combined. That's something I keep noticing more and more as a founder. AI can get you shockingly far. It can accelerate, suggest, organize, and even rescue momentum when you are stuck. But there is still a gap between a lot got done and the problem is actually solved. And sometimes that gap is only one tiny bug wide. That tiny bug can still break everything. So even in a workflow powered by AI, human ingenuity still matters. Taste still matters. Patience still matters. Creative problem solving still matters. Because sometimes the last 2% is the part that decides whether the whole thing works or not. Today felt like a reminder of that. We are not just using AI to make things faster. We are learning where its strengths end, where our judgment has to begin, and how real building still depends on people being able to notice what is missing, what is breaking, and what needs a completely different way of thinking to finally click.